Hello again, it's John, and it's a beautiful day here in Texas. And we're going to be sanding finishing resin smooth as glass on this Ibanez Gio body. It's a resin guitar body makeover with precision sanding using 220 grit sandpaper. We're going to end up mating this neglected Ibanez Gio body to a brand new Fender Jazz Master neck on the guitar foster parent. And why? Because every guitar deserves to be played. Even this guy. And then we're going to give it away to a forever home. It's great to have you along here for the show today. Now I have to confess, I got in a little bit of a hurry. I always talk about not doing that, but you can see on this body, I've got drips all over this thing. Look at there, and then up on the front hook. All of that is going to have to be sanded off. What I've basically done is created extra work for myself. But fear not, I'm armed with a power tool, our trusty Bauer orbital sander with a hook and loop 220 pad. And then when we're done, we're going to take this nice tack cloth and get all the dust off, because after this, it'll be time to hang it up in our painting tent. And then we'll be putting on our filling primer and preparing for our new finish here on the Guitar Foster Parent. Let's do some sanding. All right, 220 pad. Remember, we're going to be careful to line our holes up so that this sucks up a lot of this dust here. There we go. Whoop, not quite. You got to kind of turn it because you don't want to cover any of these holes. There we go. All right, perfect. 220, fresh pad. Now, we're also going to be wearing a respirator to protect our lungs. Got another trophy here, the stirring stick. This stuff hardens like plastic. It's a little gummy where it's thin, but I mean, this stuff it's plastic. This is really good resin. The idea here is to get this nice and smooth. You can see in the sunlight, it's got a lot of bumpiness to it. We're going to get this nice and smooth. Here we go. Little resin dust there. It's a beautiful day. We got lots of planes flying over today. The idea is to get as much of this shiny off as we can. And you can see where it's doing okay. All right, I'm going to work on the back now. If the goal was to fill in some of these low spots, now when I run my fingers over this, I think we accomplished the goal. Now these drips left some marks here. See, I can feel with my finger. I need to sand a little more right there to get it nice and smooth. But this will all be covered up with primer and paint, so we don't need to worry about what shows here. We want to worry about what it feels like. See, I've got a spot here I need to work on, but it really, I think this whole resin process is going to be worth it. All right, so you can see right here, this is one of the most problematic parts of the guitar here. And this poor filler has filled in this spot pretty darn good. It's pretty smooth. I don't know if it's perfect, but to my feeling of my hand, it feels like it's pretty smooth. So what we're going to do now, we've got the front. Do another feel test here. Yeah, right there, you got a little spot. So I'll hit that, and then we'll start working on the flat sides. All right, so now we've got it pretty much, now of course in here we're going to have to go with a hand sander, which is fine. I do have I was able to get some of these big drips off. Again, a lot of these points I had drips, I got a little bit in a hurry and I was globbing on, you know, the stuff thickens, right? And so as it thickened, it was a little less friendly to spread. So I got in a hurry when what I should have done was just stop, mix another little batch and go. So I've got some clumpiness. I did get most of the drips off. This 220 grit sandpaper, the idea is to get down almost back to the bare wood, okay? Obviously you're gonna see some spots. So this was obviously a low spot here. All this shine that you see, not in here of course, not in the cavity, but on the outside of the body, these are all parts that were low and that the resin filled in. There were some big spots down here. You know, it's hard for me to know, being this is my rookie attempt at this, if it's perfect, but I think it was definitely worth the while because this guitar had some pretty serious pits in the body. And now there was one back here, one here, and so you can really see them, you know, as I'm rotating them in the sunshine, you can really see how they kind of glisten. These are all the spots, technically I guess not pores in this wood, but low spots. You know, whether it's insect damage, you know, these, like I said before, these Gios were not expensive, and so they didn't use the choicest cuts of wood when they made these bodies, but it's wood and it's going to be beautiful. So I'm going to finish all this good stuff with some hand paper. What I was saying before I interrupted myself, which I do all the time, is, you know, I'm not a professional at this. And so in all seriousness, I'm glad you're enjoying the channel, but if you're looking for a professional, you know, tips and tricks on how to do this, probably don't look to me. But if you want to, because here's the thing, this thing's going to make music, and I'm done making excuses. All right. I think it's going to look awesome. Never mind. All that I said, forget about it. It's going to be awesome. So this is obviously the tedious part. You know, you saw last time I took a caulking tube and used that as kind of and I may go grab that. I didn't bring it over for this, but I may go grab that. These discs are actually good for hand sanding as long as you don't poke your fingers through the holes, and, you know, because they're heavier. This paper's thin and it tears, and it, you know, sometimes these little discs actually are better, easier to handle. So there's a spot that was low and it's kind of shined up there. That's going to be fine. It feels nice and smooth. This guitar had some edge problems, you know, where some edges had been chopped into, you know, being dropped, or, you know, not placed on a stand correctly, or, you know, someone was doing their best Pete Townsend imitation and figured, hey, it was only a $200 guitar. Well, look, I love the Who as much as the next man, but I've never been a guy that understood the smash the instruments thing. I mean, if you're mad, it's probably not your guitar's fault. Anyway, maybe I'm old-fashioned that way. Not that the Who is new-fashioned, but yeah, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Just a couple spots in here and we'll be all done. You can see the dust from this resin is like chalk dust. It's white, see that? Now, I've heard some people complain that this stuff says it's clear and it's really not, and clearly that is quite yellow. But the thing is, it's not designed to be glumped up like this. All right, this was what was left in the cup, obviously. It's not meant to be glumped up like that. When it's thin like this, it will be clear. And like I say, it really doesn't matter because we're going to be priming and painting over this. Oh, there's a spot right there I need to grab. What I'm doing here is cleaning up the drips because I got really thick. By the time I got to this part here, this stuff was starting to become more like this. And I really got in a hurry and it went on too thick. And I let it set up like this. Let's talk about curing time. I mentioned last time that this is a 20 to 30 minute finishing resin. You can get faster ones, which actually obviously are not good because you can get some that 5 minutes, I think, but why would you want to do that? You'll just be in a constant panic working on getting that done. This is the 20 to 30 minute kind, but what I noticed is that it was still kind of gummy after an hour. I came back after an hour and went upstairs, and it still felt kind of gummy, especially on the drippy parts, which obviously are going to take longer to cure. So this has been sitting a week, actually a little more than a week. Just been sitting on the workbench on that stand I made that I showed you, setting up. And so it should, if you're sanding it and it's flaking and not dust, then it's not dry. Again, it's a finishing resin, so it's supposed to be quite thin. And when it does, there we go. No, just one more little bump there. We got it. Okay. Now, we just do a feel inspection. Use our sense of touch. Feel along, make sure it feels buttery smooth. All along there, maybe just a little touch up there. Yeah, see this part, and especially parts I can see, I want to feel to make sure I didn't leave any, any bumps in the top there. You want it to get down to the level surface. This will be under the pick guard, of course, but I'm checking that anyway. Okay, flip over on the back. This will be under the plate, of course, but we still want to, see right there, missed a little spot right there. This was where a drip was. And this is important to get flat because you want that plate to sit down flat on the, there we go, that'll get it, yeah, okay. We go, feel along here, good. On the edges. See, this is where having that little flexible windshield wiper spreader would have been handy, because a lot of these bumps along the edges here is because my spreading tool was rigid. And so I kind of had to, there was a point where this stuff was going to gather and not harden smoothly. And I think that little flexible thing might have saved me some of this work. Maybe not. And it's really not that bad. This stuff sands nicely. I mean, you can see it's not stubborn at all. All right. Yes, smooth as glass. Precision sanding, resin guitar body makeover. Now we got to get rid of this dust. I am going to try to get the dust out of the cavity, but I want to use it on here first. Did you know that we're getting close to 400 subscribers? That's pretty exciting. The process is simple. I foster, I fix, and I place. That's what we do. Now I'm just going to dab in the cavity, get some of this dust out. Mainly because when I'm spraying next time, I don't want the pressure from the can to blowing this stuff out. I really don't think it's going to. This stuff is pretty firmly in here. These tack cloths are great. They just make dust removal so nice and easy and complete. What a beautiful day to do this out here. Here we go. So I'm going to place this, I'm going to tack cloth this again when I get it back upstairs, and it's going to sit there until it's ready for the next step, which is to put on our Duplicolor filler primer, which we'll do next time. For a paint booth, I found one of those little pop-up tents. I'll show that to you next time. It was super cheap, and I hear it's a pretty cool deal. It's got like a one-way vent in the back, so that, you know, stuff, paint and air and stuff and wind can blow out. I'm gonna try it. I think it's got a little hook in the top so we can, you know, hook our guitar. I'm probably gonna use a piece of paracord to hang it through the hanging hole here. And then we're gonna put some primer on this thing. We're getting close. Then we're gonna talk next time also about the electronics. I've got some ideas and start to put the pick guard together. And the neck is pretty much done. The only thing that I need to know on the neck, actually there's two things. One, on the neck, I may need to adjust the nut slots. Don't know yet. And we may need to shim also. So in other words, the neck has never been on this guitar, so we may have to do some shimming to get the neck angle right. That'll be a trial and error measurement thing. Also, I still haven't decided what to do with the headstock. The headstock is a Strat shape and it's completely blank. There are no decals or anything on it. Some of you have said paint it to match the body. Some of you have said no, leave it natural, leave it like it is. Haven't decided yet. So if you have an opinion one way or the other, now's the time, because pretty soon I'm going to be pulling the trigger on a decision for that. Thanks for watching The Guitar Foster Parent. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell and join us on our journey. Pretty soon, this Ibanez Gio project is going to be in the hands of somebody that will make music again. That's the whole point of the channel. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. I'm John. Bye-bye.